All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And before I get started on the update here, I've got to make one quick change in the studio here. I was able to finally find at Target the Robin that I have been looking for from Batman the Animated Series and McFarlane Toys. So it is going to take its rightful place right here where Ben Affleck's Batman is from Batman vs. Superman. I got this the other day from Warner Brothers, or not Warner Brothers, but McFarlane's Direct. And so I actually have one open, and this one will remain sealed. But I'm just going to stick this guy back here, and then we're going to have Robin take his rightful place along with the other Batman animated series. Also found out they are doing one more. They're going to do at least one more wave of the New Adventures of Batman, and it is going to have Bane, Catwoman, and I don't remember the other two, but there's another wave coming out, so look for that shortly. All right, so a couple things I wanted to address before I get into the photos that I'm going to show you today. First of all, the Isabella Merced. I still have people talking about that in my comments. Come to find out, then that entire quote was false. She never said those things, and I definitely don't want shade to be thrown someone's way who doesn't deserve it, and she certainly does not deserve it. And so she never said those things. There are people out there who are trying to capitalize, and I'm going to be extra careful with those types of situations in the future because there are people who are trying to further this agenda of the whole toxic female crowd against toxic masculinity. We already know that Brie Larson, she's made some really crazy comments. We have the girl who is playing Snow White. We've heard these comments, and there are people out there who are trying to use those situations to their advantage to create fake quotes. And so I'm going to try to be much better in the future of grabbing those. But you have to remember, I am not a news channel, and I am not a reporter. Okay, I don't work for any large media. I'm gathering everything I find online. I bring it to you guys, and if it's wrong, I'm going to admit it. The other thing that has a lot of people talking is the budget for Superman Legacy. And my video still stands on that being the budget until somebody can produce something otherwise that shows that the budget is something different than that, then that's the information I have to go on. That's it. So until, it's not that I'm spreading misinformation. At this stage, nobody knows exactly what that budget is. And there should be some records out there, and some people have sent me some other things on Twitter where they are saying that, in fact, is the budget, that it's around $300 million plus whatever the marketing and whatever else is going to be. And we just don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. And like I said, I'm bringing the stuff that I find, and I'm showing it here on the channel. So if you're new here, what you get from my channel is all the stuff I find online in between my updates that I bring to you guys, and I'll present it to you. And a lot of times things are rumor, and I usually tell you guys if they're rumor. If they're fact, I will let you know if it's a fact. And sometimes I get it wrong. It doesn't happen very often, but this week the Isabella Merced thing was definitely not true, and it is important for people to understand that, and she does not deserve a lot of the hate that was thrown her way. So hopefully nobody reached out to her. I definitely didn't tag her, and I don't think it's my job to police that kind of stuff. So she is saying what she's trying to do. She just wants to live her life and be an actress, and I totally respect that. And so I think a lot of these people are starting to learn about the controversy and comments that can be made. And it's just unfortunate that she came off of Madam Web, which did not do very well at all. But let's take a look at a couple of stuff here. And before I show what I grabbed, one other thing I wanted to address too. And this is really funny because in the last video I talked about the Superman Legacy movie being named back to Superman. And as soon as I posted my video yesterday, it occurred to me why James Gunn made this change. He wants all the glory, people, all of it. And by changing the name simply to Superman, it is going to make the engagement on it much higher than it really is because people use Superman as a hashtag. And if you understand business, I run my voiceover business in it. I learned years ago that if you want that notoriety and you want that recognition, you have to use hashtags. And the studios in different places look at hashtags and engagement to gauge the things that they're going to do. And by using Superman as that, anybody that types in Superman, and I do this on every single DC video that I do, whether it has to do with Superman Legacy or not, the studio is going to claim the credit for that, for the engagement, to make his movie look more popular than it really is. And I'm actually going to show you guys a couple of screen grabs I grabbed this morning on engagement with certain topics on Twitter, which is very, very interesting. But I use Superman in every post that I do, Batman, Superman, and DC Comics. That's what I do for every DC video that I put up. And so even though I'm saying Superman, that's generalized. But now they're going to use that as a way to say this movie has more engagement than it really does. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of these photos here. All right, and then what we have here, and this has been reported in numerous places, and we don't know if this is true. This comes from Grace Randolph, though, and she is right about a lot more stuff than I would like to admit. She's super annoying, but she does get a lot of stuff right. And so this has not been 100% confirmed, but it says the plot of Superman will reportedly focus on Lex Luthor setting up Superman as a villain, causing other heroes like Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and Metamorpho to fight him. What does that sound like to you guys? The response by William H. Boney is perfect. Sounds a lot like Batman vs. Superman. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. It does seem to me, if this is true, that this is not an original story by James Gunn, that he is just taking stuff that's happened before and kind of twisting it into his own image. And what's crazy about this is Batman vs. Superman is a very deep movie. If you watch the extended version of that film, there is so many layers to that film. It was brilliant. You learn that Lex Luthor was pulling the strings long before the movie ever started. You understand how everything is tied together. It is amazing. And there is no way that James Gunn is going to be able to take that same plot and make it better. It's just not going to happen. And if this is the route they go, it is a ripoff of Batman vs. Superman, just without Batman in there. Now, this is also getting passed around right now, and this did happen. This was an interview that Paul Dano had, and he played the Riddler in the Batman movie, and he says superhero fatigue didn't affect the Batman because it's a real film. And I'm sorry, it did affect the Batman, because the Batman didn't even make $800 million. And it's a Batman film. The Batman should have made way more than that. If you look at what The Dark Knight made and The Dark Knight Rises, those made over $1 billion. And the Batman didn't even come close to that. And this is their number one IP under the DC banner. And I'm telling everybody, Superman, the new Superman film by James Gunn, I don't even see it making the numbers that the Batman did. I just don't. I don't even see it making $600 million. And that's my prediction, is that it will make less than $600 million. And if the budget is anywhere near what they're claiming, it's just not going to make its money back. They're putting out something they know is going to fail, but they're going to spin it, guys. They will spin it. All right, so here's what I was talking about before when it comes to posts and the tags and other things that are getting posted online. And what's crazy is you could see that Restore the Snyderverse is up there with over 3,000 posts. Man of Steel has about 2,800 posts. Then you have Superman, which has a significant jump at almost 10,000. But look at what's higher than that. The Batman. Now, James Gunn made this big stink about Superman Legacy being renamed this week. You would think that Superman, and like I said, anybody posting about Superman, whether it's about Superman, the movie, or not, it's going to get put in there. And to see that the Batman is getting more than Superman is, that's really kind of interesting. And then a few minutes later, it updated, and I want to show something incredible here. Look at Kong. Kong has 87,000 posts. But you can see the Batman was still up there at about 14,000. Man of Steel 2,800, and still Restore the Snyderverse at 3,100. And so Kong is getting a lot. That movie is getting released here pretty soon. I just actually got my tickets today for the new Ghostbusters movie, and I think Kong comes out like a week or two later, something like that. But I will be doing reviews on both of those films as soon as they get released. Now, this here goes to show you guys, I think that Warner Brothers is in for a rude awakening when this movie gets released and people realize that Henry Cavill is no longer a part of this. It says, James Gunn, this person, Flashback FM, posted, James Gunn shared the Superman logo. Which one do you like? And 80% of the audience said Zack Snyder's Superman. Of course. Of course they will. There is a lot more. I mean, people do not understand the following and the hype that came for Zack Snyder's Superman that there is today. It still boggles my mind that they decided to go with a reboot than continue with Man of Steel 2. Man of Steel 2 could have been just about done with its production by now, going into post-production, and could have been released this coming summer had they just stuck with it, because there was already scripts apparently ready to go and things being set, but they decided to go with James Gunn instead. And this to me seems like a colossal mistake from top to bottom. And make no mistake, while I do like this symbol a lot more than I was expecting, I do not like the gold around it. And it is not better. I do not see it being better in any way, shape, or form than the symbol that came on Zack Snyder's Superman. And there's actually, Kryptonian symbols in there that make up his costume. And that is totally missing from this. This is like stitching from a basketball or possibly from, a football. And so there is no comparison. I think the audience even proves that. It's not as good. We are taking a downgrade on everything. All right, and then one other thing I wanted to address before I wrap up this video is the fact that in my last video I talked about Alex Ross art. I know who Alex Ross is, okay? A lot of people gave me a hard time for saying Axl Ross, and it was just a brain fart. Those things happen. In fact, I was going to dig out, and if I can find it, I'll post it one day, but I think these are the things I'm going to show people who do subs when I get my subs set up and everything, that I'm going to show those individuals. But I have actually a bunch of outtakes. I've done 4,500 different projects doing voiceovers over the last 13 years, and I keep outtakes on some of this stuff, things that are pretty funny. And sometimes we get into a loop and we say the wrong thing over and over and over again. And there was one time where I was doing this, it was some kind of a exercise module to teach people how to do exercises. And they were talking about your body fat, BMI and stuff. And I kept saying batty fat, over and over and over again. And I took a cut where I did how many times I did that wrong in a row before I got it right. And so those things happen, guys. I'm not sitting there critiquing every little thing I do in my video. The thing you're going to find about me on my channel is I'm as genuine as you're going to get. I don't have a script that I'm reading off of. I get the news, I present it to you guys, and the stuff that I find, and I'm not going off some sort of a script. And so you are getting the raw deal here. It's as raw as it gets. I am the most genuine person out there doing this. I'm not doing some flashy productions. I don't have a script that I'm following. I actually come in and I'm talking to you guys like a regular person. And I really hope that my audience appreciates that, and I hope anybody new to my channel appreciates that. I appreciate all of you guys who engage with me. I try to engage with as many people in the comments as I possibly can, and I do appreciate all the support. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up.